Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zane's Other View, and this video is mainly directed to Mr. Sotomayor of Tommy SotomayorTv. I don't think he'll connect this to his video I'm going to try and connect it to, so I might connect it to Miss Jade and Cindy to be original. Now those are two people I respect very, very heavily. Miss Cindy to be original, I really respect her. She's a very intelligent black woman from the UK. And Mr. Sotomayor, I may not agree with everything he says, but we always can disagree on things. And I doubt it's much of a disagreement because Mr. Sotomayor, he believes mainly that black society is, its main systemic problem is that black women are the main problem. They don't know how to present themselves. They don't know how to act towards children. They don't know how to act towards themselves. They don't know how to act towards men, black men in general. And he does also say that black men also are the problem and society is the problem, but he mainly focuses on black women. And I respect that. But that's where I believe we differ a little bit. I believe that society is the systemic problem and is the main problem, and the systemic problem is black women. Black women are what they are because of society. Society that our ancestors created. And from that is where the systemic problem comes for women as well as men as well as children. And that's where we basically differ. I don't believe he'll be 100% against what I said. He'll probably say you're probably right. Yeah, society is like that. But if I'm correct about his belief that women are the foundation of that society, and he is right. Women make the society the way it is. Without women, there's no society. You can't have life. You can't have relationships. You can't have anything. So I do respect his opinion, but I do believe it differs a bit. Now I'm doing this video because of the 911 call done by a mother who was ready to beat her son's head in with a hammer. And also another video after that was about a mother who is filming her daughter on a cell phone saying basically, you're going to try and do some dirty stuff on Facebook. I'm going to oust you and say this girl is 14. She's not screwing anybody. What do I feel about these videos? I'm going to say this. Those videos are the most disgusting things I've ever seen. I've seen a lot. And I can tell you this, and if anyone disagrees with me, give me a reason without cursing at me. Because I'm going to say this. If you can tell me an honest, straightforward opinion without a curse, that shows that you're willing to listen. If you're just willing to curse, that means you didn't listen to anything. You just wanted to listen to yourself. No insult intended, but that's the way it really goes. So, my feelings about this. Both women were 100% wrong. 100%. For the mother in the 911 call, she didn't know any better because society has taught her that's the way she has to act. The mother with the cell phone with the daughter, because of Facebook and maybe getting some dick, forgive me on my language, same thing. As far as society is, I'm going to make it like this. American black society is around the world now. And this is what a lot of black Americans don't understand. And they say, oh, the media is using us. The media always shows us. No, the media shows us because I'm also part black. They show us because we are the most popular. We do movies. We do video games. We're in them. We do sports. It doesn't matter if it's fake or real. We are the ones that's the most seen by our clothes, by our music, by our words. There are people in different parts of the world that copy our words 100% and translate, if they can translate it properly into their own language, in some form or fashion, they do it. Asian society, if you look at K-pop and K-rap, that is an extension of American rap culture and American pop culture. Hip-hop, I'm sorry, we promoted that since the 1950s. And this is something people don't want to wrap around their head. As long as we're the most popular of all the races around the world, we are the most seen races on the entire planet, and we are the one that's most emulated. Emulation is the greatest form of flattery. That's the reason why people do it, and that's why we've been respected and not respect. But this is where we fall on our faces, because since the late 60s, we have not learned one damn thing. Not one. I don't care if they're very cultured black people. I don't care if they're very educated black people. People who can think very well. When it comes down to it, in a whole, all black culture is a piece of crap and needs to be trashed. Not saying to forget our history, but our culture is garbage. Rap culture is garbage. The way our people act when they're not doing rap or baseball or football or basketball is crap. Our actions outside sports, crap. Our actions outside music's crap. Our actions when we're not doing something, if you're in a, let's say, a military sense or in a government sense, they got black people to act completely stupid. You have basically Al Sharpton, Wrangle, so many people that upset me. Jesse Jackson Jr., Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King IV. There are a lot of people who are black who misrepresent our people so much, and mainly because of this and fame. So that shows we're no different than any race. But the problem is we're the most seen of all races. As much as people want to say white people are the one who caused us to be the way we are. At one point in the very beginning when we were slaves, yes, we were freed. Our ancestors tried to make more out of themselves. And by the 1950s, we wanted to be respected and have the same rights as anybody. And we got it. But there was a cost. We gave up everything. You see, I'm going to say it like this. American blacks, who are the most emulated, are also the most dumb. And I'm not being mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest. Because they just didn't want to emulate anything from another race that could be beneficial to themselves. And I know there are many instances where you can say, dude, my family didn't act the way they did. We were very good white people. We had like the nuclear family. Like I've seen on your videos you talk about. You can say instances, but in general, black people don't use the nuclear family attitude. They're not emulating white people. And this is the problem. If emulation is the greatest form of flattery, and even if you hate someone, you imitate them because you learn something from them and you grow bigger than them. Our people have not done it. Our people have stayed dumb. Not because they were slaves. It's because that they saw it 100% in their faces by the 1950s and they were acting like them at one point in the 1950s. They had families that are no different than white people. They had jobs no better than white people. Did I say it was hard to have a job? No. Did I say they have total rights as white people back then? No. But they had that. But by the end of the 1968 riots and Martin Luther King's death, they threw that shit out the window. They didn't give a fuck. And I'm sorry for the language, but you know what? I have to relay this to someone to really understand how bad this was. Because when it comes down to it, black people gave up the things that could really make them great. And right now, our children don't know no better. Young adults don't know better, black men and women. Adults don't know no better. The middle-aged don't know no better. And our senior citizens don't know better because they follow what has been taught. They follow what they raised with from the 1950s on. They feel like they have a chip on their shoulder. They're owed no matter what by white people. They always feel like white people always put them down. And they don't want to blame their own race. And what few that do talk about the blaming of the race are either shunned, hated, and disrespected. And either called Uncle Tom, an Oreo, a traitor, a piece of crap. You don't deserve to be anything but a fucking nigger. But if you're willing to use that word nigger, which I hate. I was taught a long time ago never to use that word. And guess who taught me that? It was my mother, who I love very much. It was a white Jewish woman in high school that said, don't ever let anyone call you a nigger. You know why? because that means subhuman. This woman who didn't have to say nothing to me, who heard someone call me that when I was back in the 80s as a teenage kid, and I said, all right, how you doing? And he said, how you doing, my nigga? I said, hi, how you doing? And she pulled me aside and said, you're much better than that. Don't let anybody tell you you're a nigga, because you are more than that. You're not subhuman. You're not a slave. And I know people will say, damn, man, you don't get it. People don't talk like that no more. Yes, they do. I said this before and I'll say it again. If a black man says this to a black man in anger, you just blow it off. Like, oh, you're just being a stupid motherfucker. Sorry for the cursing, but this is what many people would think. Not everybody, but many. I don't pay no attention to you. You're fucked up. Shut the fuck up. But if a white man says this in anger, or an Asian man says this in anger, or an Italian man says this in anger, you will be in an uproar. Because no one has the right to call you a slave, or what your ancestors used to be called, a nigga, Negro. But understand this, if you're allowing your own fellow black man or woman to say this to you, what does that mean? That means you are no better than anyone else. You are more foolish than everyone else. If you can't see what's plain in your face, that the Negro word, the nigger word, isn't the worst thing that we can call ourselves, then you really don't know how to see yourself. You don't see yourself as a black man or woman. You don't. You see yourself as subhuman, a slave to a word that has not been used the way it has and was presented the way it was for over 200 years. For almost 200 years. For my mistake, I'm very sorry. When it comes down to it, the society needs to be trashed. I'm going to be honest too. Black society, 90% of it is a piece of crap and needs to be trashed, and something else needs to go in its place. Will that ever happen? No, not until we destroy ourselves, because we haven't done it yet. As far as everyone is concerned, we're doing great. We're seen in everything I mentioned. Television, music, sports, every type of entertainment. We have a president who is a mixed black man, biracial. As long as we're the most presented and still a light, because of our culture, it'll never change. When the day our culture is not seen anymore in the world and something has replaced it, when we finally go into the depths, as they will call, of hell, and I'm not Christian, but that's what it comes down to, and we try to destroy ourselves literally, that will be the only time when we finally realize it has to end. Because as long as we're popular, no one gives a damn. And that's the truth. So I hope you enjoyed the Zanes of the View. Subscribe and comment, but understand this is about wrestling. I only do these once in a while. Mr. Sotomayor, if you don't connect this here, it's alright. I don't mind you not connecting it because it's understandable. You don't always connect your videos to everyone. So thank you and have a good day.